Hey everybody, Joe McCall here from Wholesaling Lease Options. Hope you're doing well. I'm on the video conference Skype thingy with my good friend Brian Haskins. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Good, great. Hey, listen, I've known Brian for how long, Brian? 4 years, 5 years now.
Yeah, probably
Um,
4 or 5 years.
he lives in St. Louis, but like me, he's a hermit. He likes just staying in his house. So we didn't go meet at a Starbucks or anything like that. We just, hey, let's just get on the computer and do a Skype interview. And so, but anyway, I've known Brian for a while. I first met Brian when he was really active in wholesaling in the St. Louis area. He's one of the biggest wholesalers out here in St. Louis, and was just really doing well, kicking butt. And Brian and I have talked a lot over the last few years about how you do your business and how one thing I've really been impressed with is how Brian uses his virtual assistants and to do all of this wholesaling stuff for him. And so I wanted to just introduce you guys on my list to Brian, a local guy here in St. Louis who's doing really, really well in the business. And Brian, talk a little bit about how you got started in real estate investing. What were you doing before that?
Well, right now, I still have a full-time wholesaling business, but I've been able to kind of take myself out of the equation. And the way that I've been able to do that is through virtual assistants. And let me kind of rewind a few years back. I mean, I was working full-time in my wholesaling business. I was, probably putting in 40, 50, sometimes even 60 hours a week doing just about everything, in my own real estate investing business. Didn't have anybody working for me or anything like that. And I made a discovery online one day. I heard a guy talking about how he had automated his real estate investing business through virtual assistants, and it kind of intrigued me that there was a way that I could automate my business because I was getting really frustrated. I wanted to kind of give up on real estate. It just took a lot out of me, and I know a lot of people are in that same situation right now. So I started to learn a lot about virtual assistants. I went out and got the book, The 4-Hour Work Week, and everything just really kind of got me excited about automation and kind of, there is a better way to invest in real estate and pretty much run any business. So I kind of worked on automating my business for the next 6 months or so, just outsourcing little projects here and there, and basically got to the point to where I was working less than a few hours a day on my real estate investing business pretty quickly. So now that I've kind of realized there's a better way, and I've set my business up so it pretty much runs completely on autopilot without me, I've kind of made it my mission now to kind of, tell other people about virtual assistants and how they can automate their business. And, these principles can work for wholesaling lease options, for wholesaling in general, just about anything that you're doing right now. So it's really exciting, and that's why I want to kind of let everybody know that there is a better way to invest in real estate. Now, for the most part, I mean, I spend maybe a few hours a week just kind of managing my business, but it still runs and cranks out a full-time income almost completely on autopilot.
Now, that's one thing I've always been impressed with. Talk a little bit about how your average day goes, Brian.
Well, for the most part, I've got several different businesses that I run, as well as my real estate investing business. So most of my day, I usually start probably around 10 o'clock or so, and I'll get, just kind of my list of things I do throughout the day. I really don't actually even look at my real estate investing business until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. My virtual assistant will send me an email, which basically just kind of like a daily report that lets me know kind of what's going on in our business, what deals we have going on right now, any questions from any of the other virtual assistants. And really, that's kind of it for the most part. That's about all the time I really spend on it is looking at those reports. Any kind of communications all done through one virtual assistant that I have set up, which we'll talk about later on, is that I have my business set up so I have one almost like a manager assistant that kind of handles a lot of the day-to-day type stuff and reports to me, so I'm not dealing with a lot of virtual assistants, and I'm not getting pulled in all these different directions. So I just have it set up so I get one report each day, and I can communicate through them, and they can respond to all the other virtual assistants.
All the other virtual assistants. All right, Brian, how many VAs do you have?
Right now, I've got about 6 full-time people, and that's not all for my real estate investing business. That's for other things. Right now, for my real estate investing business, I have a full-time staff that handles incoming phone calls and follow-up phone calls. because there's a ton of leads that we have that come in, and we distribute through different parts of my business. So we've got someone on staff that does that. And I also have a virtual assistant that handles the majority of the marketing, keeps up with the websites, that kind of stuff. And then the manager assistant sometimes will handle some of the bigger projects and things like that, just kind of keeping track of all the leads and all the different things like that. So there's about 3 people right now that are working on my business. But I didn't start that way. I mean, it's kind of evolved over the last few years. You can easily get started with a virtual assistant that can handle the majority of the things in your real estate investing business. Just one person can do that. You can find somebody for just a few dollars an hour to get you started. And then as your business grows and as you start to make a ton more money, you can kind of expand and kind of arrange your business a little bit differently. But it's worked out really well the way that I have it set up now, so I'm really excited about it.
And it's given you a lot of freedom, hasn't it? I mean, you just built a new house.
Yep.
You always see Brian smiling in his big Hummer when he drives up to. We did meet once. I did pull him out of his cave a few months ago, and we met at a restaurant, and he pulled into with his big Hummer. The great thing about this business is it gives you a lot of freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, work the kind of schedule. You would make a horrible employee, Brian, right?
I agree. Yeah, I haven't been an employee probably. It's been probably about 10 years now. Since I was 18 was probably the last time I had an actual job that I actually went to every day. So I couldn't imagine being an employee now.
So you teach your students a lot of. You have a lot of coaching students right now, and you do a lot of. You teach your students how to do wholesaling, how to do and how to automate it, systematize it, and outsource it, so that this stuff can get done without you being involved in all the nitty-gritty details of everything. So that's
Exactly.
one thing that you've really got that down to a science, don't you?
I do. It really is a simple process. And one of the biggest things that I like to tell everybody, there's a lot of people that are in different parts of their business. There's a lot of people that are just starting out, maybe never done a deal before. There's a lot of people that are closing deals on a regular basis. And I think that every real estate investor, no matter what your skill level is and no matter if you're making money or not, you need to be utilizing virtual assistants. And that's what I push on all my students because one of the biggest reasons that most new investors fail is because there's so many hats you wear as a real estate investor. You're getting pulled in all these different directions. It's so hard to kind of keep that straight. And if a new investor that didn't make any money yet would maybe set aside $15, even $20 a week at the most to have a virtual assistant that would continually send out direct mail for them or market on Craigslist, just do something to drive in leads, it's going to be so much more beneficial for them because they can actually focus then on closing deals and this kind of thing. There's so many new investors that'll go out, do a little bit of marketing, get a deal or two under contract. They'll focus all their time and energy getting those deals wrapped up, but they forgot to fill their marketing pipeline. And then it might take them another month or two to go out there and find another deal. And that's a really crucial time for most new investors. So I really try to explain to people, no matter where you're at in your business, you need to utilize virtual assistants. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. If you can find a virtual assistant for $2 or $3 an hour and maybe give them 3 or 4 hours a week to handle your marketing and do things for you so you always have a steady business, you're number one going to make a lot more money a lot quicker, and also it's going to be consistent money. So it's really important to utilize virtual assistants in your real estate investing business, no matter where you're at in your business.
Oh yeah, and even if you're not in real estate investing,
right?
Even if you're, I've had guys talk to me who are in the insurance industry or the different financial services, financial consultants and things like that. Talk about how impressed they are with us real estate investors who are actually using virtual assistants to a whole nother level. It's like we're kind of leading the industry in that. But real quick, Brian, talk about some of the marketing you have, just real briefly, some of the marketing you have your virtual assistants do for you for finding sellers. It's something that I think is probably the most important part of this business. Just touch on that a little bit, would you?
Definitely. It is so simple now with all the advancements in technology and all the different places that you can go to market online now. It's so simple for your virtual assistant to pretty much handle all of your marketing. whether it's online, like free classified sites, going through and searching through Craigslist and Backpage and all those different types of things. That's easily automated. You can easily automate that for your real estate business and have your virtual assistant do it. Another great tip that you can use is, I know that I use Click-to-Mail for all my direct mail. Do you use Click-to-Mail, Joe?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, if you go to clicktomail.com, it's a service put on by the United States Postal Service, and you can actually prepay money into your account. So you don't ever have to give your virtual assistant any kind of credit card information or anything like that. But they can actually automate your direct mail for you, whether it's postcards or letters that you're sending out. You can work with them to upload some templates, and they can basically go out and create lists for you, whether they buy them through ListSource, or if you pull the records online yourself, they can upload those for you and actually send out your direct mail pretty much completely without your input, because you can prepay money.
Yeah.
So it makes it really simple to use. So
you don't have to give your VA your credit card information.
Right, and that's really important for most people, because safety is not really a huge issue with virtual assistants. There's a lot of people out there that are really great virtual assistants. You don't have to worry about that with, but it's just one more step of protection for yourself to be able just to kind of prepay that for your direct mail. But direct mail is a good way to do it. Also, online, any kind of online marketing you're doing, it's really easy to automate with your virtual assistants.
I totally agree, and I could not get to where I'm doing and where I'm at without my VAs. They, in addition to direct mail like you talked about, they're sending out voice blasts and text messages and emails to Craigslist ads. And one of the things I've just started doing recently, Brian, is sending voice blasts out to cheap rentals in Craigslist and having my VA pull numbers of homes like under $700 a month, the non-typical lease option home.
Right.
And then sending them a voice blast and text message asking if they want to sell their rental property. It could be a duplex, multifamily, mobile home. And so there's so many things that you could have your VA do. You could even have your VA go to the MLS and do research on properties and make offers on REOs. You could have the VA make 20, 30 offers a day on different REOs. So I'm really, really impressed with Brian's taken. You guys who've known me for a while know how much I talk about outsourcing, but Brian has just taken it to a whole nother level than what I've even done. And that's why I like calling Brian a friend, because then I can, when I have questions, I call him up. How do you do this again? And he tells me, But anyway, I'm going to be sending you guys a bunch more emails in the next few days here, and I'm going to give some more information in this post down below about Brian and what he does. I am totally 100% wholeheartedly endorse Brian and what he does and what he teaches, and I've been excited and wanting to do this little interview for a long time, and we'll have more to come. But thanks, Brian, for the time. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to share real quick before?
Yeah, just real quick, for anybody that kind of is turned off by the idea of outsourcing, I just want to say that I've been able to use virtual assistants right here in the United States for 2, 3, even $4 an hour. And I know, Joe, you also have some virtual assistants here in the United States. So I don't want people to think that we're only talking about shipping jobs across, to the Philippines and India. Now, you can find a lot of great virtual assistants in other countries, but you can easily do this on a really cheap budget with virtual assistants right here in the United States. So I want everybody to kind of give, just the idea a little bit of thought. Don't kind of, dismiss it just because you think that outsourcing is bad. And there's a lot of other good things that outsourcing can bring, to our economy to help strengthen it, which we'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there just so people aren't turned off by the idea whenever they hear this. We're not just talking about shipping jobs overseas and things like that. So that's really important. I just wanted to say that.
Well, that is important. I've had a VA in Indiana before, in St. Louis before. I have a local assistant right now in St. Louis. So it is real important to remember that. All right, well, cool, Brian. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate you having me on here, and I'm really excited to teach your students more about outsourcing, give them some great tips and that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
And guys, this is Brian Haskins, and he's doing it in this market today. He's been doing it for years, making very good money wholesaling using virtual assistants. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from Brian in the next few weeks, and I hope you guys pay attention to him because he has a lot of really good things to say. So, all right, see you, man.
See you, Jeff.